Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Krishna. I don't exactly know who this is in the backyard. In the broken down trailer, I don't exactly know who this is, but they're incredible. I wanted to go online, have, come and sit and we would talk, and, so they could be, but they weren't up for it. They've been through some difficult situations the last little while, and they just want to be peaceful and kind of. But we had such a nice talk. I wish it was on the camera. Their realizations are, wow. I can share one thing that they were saying. They're not at all pretentious or condescending, or not at all. They're just they're just always with Krishna, I'm beginning to think. They're so tolerant. I mean, the situation in that trailer it's very old. It's clean, but it's old. And and they're just chanting Hare Krishna, and Hare Krishna is a very peaceful person. What they did share was, because the other day I was telling them how I was angry at Krishna. I experienced getting angry. Like, why did he create entities like us who are vulnerable to the material energy? Why did he do that? Is it some kind of sick pleasure or something? And I've heard other devotees talk like this also. It's not a final conclusion. It's just something that I'm looking at. I don't for 1 minute reject anything that Prabhupada or the sages or the Vedas or the advanced devotees are saying. But at the same time, I'm looking at this and I'm trying to understand, why does he create? And then one devotee gave me the quick answer, free will, because there's no love without free will. But then I'm thinking, well, in the spiritual world, there's very small little jivas also. And they're not susceptible to being illusioned or forgetful or having to go through the cycle of birth and death, identifying with the material body. They don't have to experience disease and old age, and they don't have to go through that. So I'm still thinking, why is there a class of living entities that is susceptible to going through that? Why? And I got another angle of vision on that yesterday with my guest. And what they were saying, and they're very humble and just it's their realization, is that everything that Balarama, Krishna expands into his Balarama manifestation, his Vishnu form as Balarama. And these expansions, they have specific characteristics, and they serve Krishna in specific ways. So when Krishna expands his pleasure potency, that's one expansion, and that's for pleasure pastimes. And his pleasure potency, Ladini Shakti, makes sure and does everything possible so for Krishna's fun. That's one expansion. I mean, if God, wouldn't you want a pleasure potency? I mean, come on, really. And then he expands as Balaram, which is a way to think of Balaram is like an older brother, protective older brother, Balaram. He's Krishna, but for a specific reason. And then from this expansion of Balaram is the Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, Vasudeva. All these other expansions come, and they deal with the material creation, the Purushas. I think I've got this right. Anyway, they were sharing like this, that he expands in the form of Balaram, which also means strength, and he's protective. So there are these class of living entities who cause a disturbance. I'm still trying to, I still want more insight on this. Why? Why are this class of living entities? It's important to me because I'm in that class. I'm a disturbance. So I want to know why. I mean, it's important to me personally to get some clarity on this. It's not just an idle philosophical, well, that's interesting. No, it's important to me personally. It's part of for me, getting some self-realization. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. So that was very helpful to see how this aspect of Balaram is protective, and from him come the incarnations that appear in the material world. That it's all part of protecting Krishna from the disturbances caused by the vulnerable living entities, the ones with free will that exercise their free will sometimes against Krishna. Anyway, I'm praying for more understanding of this. But it was an interesting conversation, and we had the camera and everything all set up, but she didn't want to go on. I wish she would have, because I would have liked to have discussed it a little bit more. But Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So who is this in the backyard? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Govinda. I plan to read in a little while, chant some more rounds, and then do some reading.